In today's video we are going to be replacing our stock trigger and our micro dagger right here with this ITTS, the Tyrant trigger, CNC, kind of silver gold type deal. I'm not going to be showing you all the beating and banging, but just kind of the basic principles of the steps to follow. So we got our gun, trigger, you'll need a couple punches, different sizes, hammer with maybe some soft ends if you want to switch those out, and then kind of like a roll of tape or something to actually put your gun on. So let's start this out real quick and we'll go from there. Hopefully this helps somebody. Okay, first check always to make sure your gun is unloaded and you are good to go before you actually do anything. I am going to start by removing this slide real quick, just so I can have just the frame. So I remove my slide. Now I have just the frame of my gun. Whenever you look at your Tyrant CNC trigger, you open it up, you're going to have your trigger housing right here. You'll have some blue Loctite, and then your little Allen wrench. This is probably about the third one I've actually put on, but this is for G43, 43X/48, and this is a 43X clone. So since this is a 43X clone, you're only going to have 2 pins to really knock out. Your 19s and stuff, there will be 3 pins. On your 43X, we're going to knock out this front pin and then this back pin, which holds the trigger housing, and your front is going to hold this little trigger guard and your slide release. So let's start by putting our frame on the roll of tape, and then we'll take our punch size, whichever works, and then slightly tap it out. And that fell straight through. That was really easy. So I'm going to set this aside at the top. That's our first pin. And then our slide release will come straight out. It kind of goes in there when we put it back. I'm going to set it aside. And this little trigger housing should pop up also. Right there. And that's how that will be reassembled back. And in the PSA compact dagger, this piece is actually held together by the 2 screws, or the 2 punches. And now that that's done, we will punch this back one. Again, really easy. Now the compact dagger, the punches were in there freaking tight, and this seems to be a lot loose. So with this last punch pin, I'm going to move it over here to the side so I know that it goes right there. And then next, our trigger housing and our trigger shoe should all just pull out. So let's try to pull this out real quick, keeping it all together. Sometimes these pieces will come out because I think this is held together by a spring. Alright, now we got our frame and our trigger housing disassembled. There's what that looks like, and we're just going to be replacing this trigger shoe. So what I'm going to do on this trigger shoe, I'm going to punch out, and you're pretty much going to destroy this trigger shoe, and it will be the one that's holding it in to this bar right across here, and it should be this one right here. We're just going to punch that straight out and all the way through by putting it on our roll of tape and taking a punch pin and taking it out. And as you can see, it's starting to bust on through. Trying to keep this housing all in one piece, or else you're going to fold it all back up together again. I think we can go a little bit more. it's through now, and it fell out in the tape, which is fine because we don't really need it. So now our punch is through here. We're going to take this old shoe off, and we will put on our new shoe. Make sure you do get it on correctly. Everything's lined up. So that'll be our next step. So now we will take the Allen wrench that was provided in the Tyrant package, and this is kind of the trickiest part of it, but you're going to loosen this one so you can slide that other trigger, the bar, through there and then tighten it up. So we'll back out, and you can add your Loctite on this if you want to. Once you get it nice and lined up, that way it stays. So we backed out that screw, so we got some play underneath there for our bar. Maybe I'll throw a little bit more slack on it. Oh, too much, didn't thread it out. So you're going to take your bar and try to get it underneath that. And this is the part that's kind of hard on camera too. Feels like I need to back it out just a tad. Sometimes it is good to look at the back of it to see if you're in that correct alignment. You can see through. Oh. And thread it up, and then we are in. Might want to put some Loctite on that later, but right now I'm getting it just nice and snug. So now, as you can see, we have our new trigger housing on here, so it is ready to go. We'll move on to the next step, which is basically doing everything in repeat but backwards of what I just said. So everything's installed, looks good right here. So we're going to slide our housing and our shoe back into the frame until it's nice and snug. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put that, there we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and put that punch pin in. I'll get it more flush here in a second, but it did go through. Alright, so now this part is just getting your trigger housing, your spring released, and this little trigger guard all kind of lined up. So now we're going to put our slide release back in through here, where you can match it up with your shoe. And now we will get this piece there we go. We want everything to set flush where we can take our pin and put it right through all three pieces. So if it looks like it's lined up good enough, that's what we're going to drop our pin straight in. See if we can't hit that a tad. Yep, I think we got it. There we go. So we got all three pieces back like it should be. Then now it's just a matter of putting our slide back on real quick. Slide is back on. Let's test the trigger. Works good. Feels good. Normally it's raining outside, or I would go outside and fire a few test shots, but everything seems to be functioning really good. Let's see if do the reset. Yep, reset's working good. Slide release. Yep, it's holding like it should. Test the trigger again. Yeah, and that's basically the quick, simple steps of changing out your housing, your trigger housing to the Tyrant CNC. If I helped somebody, that's great. If you have any questions, throw it down below. But that's a quick process. It shouldn't take, you know, no more than 10 minutes, especially if you've done it 2 or 3 times. But this is the third one I installed, and I do like them. And it's an easy, quick change for cosmetic reasons. And I think the trigger provides a little bit of extra, you know, help in shooting, so to speak. But that's about it. You're not changing out the whole trigger housing or anything. But yeah, if you have any comments, just comment below, guys. You'll have a good one. Thank you.